Hey everybody, this video is to give you information about how to format your exam and how we are grading the exam. So what I'm going to do is share my screen so that you can see the three documents that I'm looking at. All right, the first document that I'm going to maximize so we can see the whole thing, whoop, that did the opposite to it, sorry about that, is called the Learning Brief Outline. And this is just a basic outline of each of your essays. Each essay should have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Now, the introduction is the first paragraph. It sets the stage for that particular question. You might also use the introduction to build on the information from your last essay, because these essays do go in order from IPA to HBSE to policy to research, unless you've emailed me with an exception to that, because your essay makes more sense that way. So each essay itself has an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. Makes sense. Each essay should also have references and page numbers on it. You put this whole document together as one document. The whole exam is one document. So don't send me 4 or 5 different documents with each information in it. So everything is documented. Everything is included in one document, and the page number should run just through the one document. So don't restart page numbers on each page. You do have your references at the end, and everything that you've cited in the body of your work should be listed on the references page and vice versa. And I do check that. So make sure that each of your essays is described and outlined in the way that this document indicates it should be outlined. So I'm going to minimize this page, and I'm going to maximize the next one, which is exam formatting instructions. And I do have a little bit of outdated information on this because this was the version that we used when we only took hard copies. So I'll talk about that in a minute. So the order of your exam should be your 4 questions formatted the way they were when you turned in your formal questions, then your title page, then your 1-page introduction, then each of your 4 essays, then your references page. So it should be in a regular format, very much like you would turn in a paper. The only difference is that the questions are going to go before the title page. So everything is written and typed and following APA citation requirements. The learning briefs for the exam need to be set to 1-inch margins. So this is standard APA formatting. And we're going to make a few exceptions to that during the coronavirus crisis, because I know some of you are trying to write this on a tablet and it's not easy to format on a tablet. So do your best to do 1-inch margins, to make sure you're double spacing, and to use the tab functions and the page number functions and the running header. Those are the things I'm not sure if you could do on a tablet or not. And I think it depends on the tablet that you have. So if you're in that situation, please email me and let me know that that's what you're doing, so that I know that there might be some challenges, or I can develop a scaled down version of formatting for you. The entire exam is double spaced, and you can see here are old school instructions to print on one side of the page only. I expect most people will send this to me as a digital document that's uploaded to Moodle. If you don't have access to Wi-Fi, you can send me a printed copy. And if you're in that situation as well, please let me know and I'll send you my home mailing address so that you can mail it to my home. So make sure that you look at the OWL Purdue APA webpage. OWL, OWL, Purdue, Purdue. They have a really excellent web page that shows you how to format an APA style. And make sure you scroll down that page to get to the APA 6th edition. Their main page has a 7th edition, and we're not using that edition yet. The preferred font is Times New Roman and 12-point font. Black ink only, no color, don't make stuff fancy, just APA. We've talked about the title page. You need to have a title for your exam. Students write an introduction specifying their focus area. So this is your 1-page maximum introduction. So remember, this is the introduction we started you writing at the very beginning of the exam course. Now that you're writing your essays themselves, you might go back and write your introduction page last so that you can include everything that's some brief outline of what's in all 4 of your essays. Then you have each of the learning briefs, or the essays themselves. They're 5 pages in length, no more, no less. You do get penalized if you have substantially more or less than what's expected in an essay. References, APA citation, all the refs are at the end of a document as normal. And again, make sure that your internal citations match what's on your references list and vice versa. You're responsible for crafting the exam answers independently. During the course, we have worked with each other on peer reviews, and I've encouraged you to do that. But once the exam dates start, you cannot consult with anybody else. So make sure that it's a 7-day blackout. If you need a modified testing dates, again, please email me if you do. And we will make sure that you have a specific 7 days that you're taking the exam, even if it's earlier or later than everybody else. And that marks the 7 days that you don't consult with anybody else. Work is only submitted in either hard copy or electronic format. One document only, please. You need to be having a 21-page document plus your references, and that's it. Each of the 4 questions is graded individually. If you don't pass one question, you'll be asked just to rewrite that question. And at that same essay and to the same question, we don't change the questions either. And that 1-week period of time for you to retest counts from the day that you and I have a conversation about your exam, which should be the day the exams are due back to you or earlier than that. So it's a 1-week period of time you have to retest this semester. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen and go back to the full screen and go back to the grading rubric. That's the final thing that we need to talk about today. I'm going to share the screen again so I can get that document going. I always recommend to folks, and let me maximize this page. I always recommend to folks that they look at a rubric before they write their paper. Or if you're writing a grant, look at the grant requirements or the essay requirements for any kind of assignment you've got before you write your paper, so that you're writing it to the specific points that the person who's going to grade it or score it has set out for you. So each exam is graded on 6 different points: clarity, precision, relevancy, breadth, logic, and mechanics. And each one of these is graded on a 5-point Likert scale from 1 to a 5. We expect most people will get a 3 or higher. So 3 times 6 is 18. So a passing grade for each exam is 18 points or higher. This is the same for each of the exam questions. And you pass or fail the exam based on each question. So you might pass 3 questions but fail 1. You only have to rewrite that 1 question. So when we talk about clarity, it means have you demonstrated that you really understand what you're writing about? This is not the place to BS or be vague about an answer. This is the point to be crystal clear that I know that you know what you're talking about when you talk about your integrative practice approach or your HBSE theory, etc. Precision is about the number of sufficient examples that you have to support your learning brief. So particularly research, that's why we have a minimum of 5 references for each question. Are you sufficiently documenting this information? And does your essay have topic sentences and conclusions at the beginning and end of your paragraphs and at the beginning and end of each section? So this is a time to be very specific in your writing. The third topic is relevancy. You're expected to have enough support to support your argument, but you're discouraged from throwing in the kitchen sink. So don't just start quoting things if you don't know what else to say, because that will lower your score. On the other hand, breadth, do you have a balance of viewpoints in your essay, specific to your topic and your question? So here you need to make sure that you're putting in not only stuff that supports your research, that supports your point of view, but also opposing points of view that are in the research. And this doesn't need to be lengthy. It can be a paragraph that says, there are 3 opposing viewpoints to this position, and just name them and lay them out and give the citations for them. The 5th area is logic. Does your paper make sense? Does your argument or your presentation build on your previous paragraphs? Are you making a relevant case? And is there sufficient evidence to your information to support that case? And finally is the mechanics, not only of APA formatting, but sufficient number of references, appropriate grammar, spelling and punctuation, etc. So there's specific grading rubrics. These are pretty much the same, except for clarity is going to be specific to your topic. Each in human behavior and policy and research as well. And I have this rubric out when I'm scoring your exam. So that's all that I have for this video. I'm going to stop sharing now and say good luck with your exam. And if you have any questions, make sure you use the questions forum for the particular exam. I think I'm going to put it in the exam week page on Moodle. So if folks have specific questions, they can put them there. Alrighty, thanks very much and have a good week.